The rope burns his wrists first. Then the cold. Riven Hale presses his bare feet against the cracked pavement beneath the collapsed bus shelter and pulls the torn blanket tighter around his shoulders. The wind cuts through the fabric like it isn't even there. His stomach twists, not from pain anymore, just emptiness. He stopped feeling hunger 2 days ago. Now it's just a hollow space that follows him everywhere. A siren wails somewhere in the distance. New York City never sleeps, but out here on the northern edge where the buildings stop and the trees begin, the noise feels far away. Like it belongs to a different world. A world that forgot about 9-year-old boys sleeping under broken shelters. Hi friend, before we continue the story, kindly tell us where are you watching from. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss stories that inspire. Because the next one might change how you see the world. Drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from. Your story matters too. Riven learned early that survival means staying invisible. Don't look security guards in the eye. Don't stand too long in one place. Don't ask questions. His mother used to say he had kind eyes. But kind eyes don't fill an empty stomach. They don't keep you warm when the temperature drops. They don't bring back people who disappear. He pushes himself up, joints stiff from the cold ground. The forest stretches out behind the shelter, thick, dark, endless. Most people avoid it. But Riven knows the edges well. Fallen branches sell for $2 at the hardware store on Amsterdam Avenue. Enough for a sandwich. Maybe 2 if the owner feels generous. He's halfway to the tree line when he hears it. A sound. Muffled. Strained. Riven freezes. His heart hammers against his ribs. Every instinct screams at him to turn around. On the streets, curiosity gets you hurt. Or worse. The Bronx taught him that. The shelters taught him that. The empty hospital room where his mother took her last breath taught him that. But the sound comes again. Weaker this time. Not an animal. Human. Riven's hands shake as he steps toward the trees. Leaves crunch beneath his torn sneakers. The sound pulls him deeper. Branches scrape his arms. The morning light barely reaches through the canopy above. Everything smells like wet earth and something else. Something metallic. His foot catches on a root and he stumbles forward. That's when he sees it. A man tied to an oak tree. Riven's breath stops. The man's wrists are bound behind his back with thick industrial rope. Gray duct tape covers his mouth. His suit, expensive, the kind Riven only sees on billboards in Manhattan, is torn and soaked with dark stains. Blood. Fresh blood. The man's head lifts. Their eyes meet. And Riven's entire body goes cold. Because he knows that face. Everyone in America knows that face. What would you do if you found the richest man in New York tied to a tree in the middle of nowhere? ***. Riven takes 3 steps backward. His mind races. This can't be real. This can't be happening. Blaine Corvette. The name flashes through Riven's memory like a neon sign. He's seen it everywhere, on the sides of buildings in Manhattan, on the news screens in electronic store windows, in newspapers people throw away on subway platforms. Blaine Corvette owns half of San Francisco's tech towers. His investment firm controls billion-dollar deals in Los Angeles, Boston, Seattle. His private jets land in Miami. His charity hospitals operate in Dallas. And now he's tied to a tree. Bleeding. Alone. The man's eyes go wide. He jerks forward desperately, trying to speak through the tape. The sound comes out choked and frantic. Riven street instincts kick in. Run. This isn't your problem. Rich people don't help kids like you. Don't get involved. But something stops him. Maybe it's the look in Blaine's eyes. Not powerful. Not commanding. Just terrified. Riven's feet move before his brain catches up. He stumbles forward, heart pounding so hard he can barely breathe. His hands shake as he reaches for the tape covering Blaine's mouth. The adhesive is strong. Industrial grade. He digs his fingernails under the edge and pulls. The tape rips away. Blaine gasps like he's been underwater for hours. Water, he chokes out. Please. Riven doesn't have water. He doesn't have anything. Just a plastic bag with 3 sticks inside and pockets full of nothing. I don't, Riven starts, but Blaine cuts him off. The rope, Blaine whispers, his voice cracking. Get the rope. Riven drops to his knees. His fingers find the knot behind the tree. It's tight. Professional. Whoever tied this knew what they were doing. He claws at it, nails splitting against the rough fiber. Pain shoots through his hands but he doesn't stop. How long have you been here? Riven asks. 2 days, Blaine breathes. Maybe 3. I don't know anymore. Riven's stomach turns. 2 days without water in October cold. No wonder the man looks half dead. Who did this? Blaine's head drops forward. People I trusted. The rope gives a little. Riven pulls harder. Blood smears across his palms from where the fiber cuts into his skin. Why? Riven asks. Money, Blaine says quietly. It's always about money. One strand breaks free. Then another. They're coming back, Blaine adds, his voice dropping to barely a whisper. They said they'd finish the job. They said no one would find me out here. Fear explodes through Riven's chest. When? I don't know. Could be minutes. Could be hours. Riven works faster. His hands are slick with blood now, his own, maybe Blaine's, he can't tell anymore. The knot finally loosens. One wrist comes free. Then the other. Blaine collapses forward onto his hands and knees. That's when they hear it. A branch snaps somewhere in the forest behind them. Riven's entire body goes rigid. The sound echoes through the trees. Close. Too close. Blaine lifts his head, eyes wide with fresh panic. They're here. Can you stand? Riven whispers. Blaine tries. His legs buckle. 2 days tied to a tree destroyed whatever strength he had left. He falls sideways into the dirt. Another sound. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Riven's mind spins. He's 9 years old. 60 pounds soaking wet. He can't fight whoever's coming. He can't carry a full-grown man. He can't. Leave me, Blaine says, his voice suddenly firm. Run. You don't owe me anything. Riven stares at him. At this man whose face is on magazine covers in Washington, D.C. boardrooms. Whose name moves stock markets. Whose wealth could buy entire neighborhoods in the Bronx without blinking. And here he is. Broken. Helpless. Telling a homeless kid to save himself. No, Riven says. He doesn't know why he says it. Maybe because his mother once told him that kindness isn't about what people deserve. It's about what you choose to give. Maybe because everyone who ever had power walked past Riven like he was invisible, and he refuses to become that person. Or maybe because Blaine's eyes remind him of the mirror, lost, scared, and running out of time. Riven grabs Blaine's arm and slings it over his shoulder. The weight nearly crushes him. His knees buckle but he locks them. Forces himself upright. Move, Riven hisses. They stumble forward. Blaine's feet drag through the leaves. His breathing comes in ragged gasps. Riven's muscles scream. His thin frame wasn't built for this. But he keeps moving. The footsteps behind them get louder. Closer. There, a voice shouts. Male. Rough. Angry. Riven's heart explodes into a sprint inside his chest. He pulls Blaine harder. They crash through branches. Blaine trips over a root and nearly takes them both down. Riven catches him. Keeps moving. Stop. The voice yells again. A second voice joins the first. He's got someone with him. Riven's lungs burn. His vision blurs. He can't keep this pace. Can't outrun grown men. Can't. A fallen log appears in front of them. Riven yanks Blaine sideways and they collapse behind it. Riven presses his hand over Blaine's mouth, muffling his gasping breaths. His own chest heaves silently. The footsteps slow. Where'd they go? First voice. They couldn't have gotten far. Second voice. Riven's eyes dart left. Right. Looking for a path. An escape. Anything. Blaine's eyes meet his. In them, Riven sees something he recognizes. The same look he had the night his mother died. The same look he had when the eviction notice came. The same look every person wears when they realize no one's coming to save them. The footsteps move closer. Leaves crunch 10 feet away. 5 feet. Riven's hand tightens on Blaine's arm. And then. The footsteps stop. Silence. Riven doesn't breathe. Doesn't move. His heart pounds so loud he's sure they'll hear it. Through the gaps in the fallen log, he sees boots. Black. Military grade. 2 pairs. Standing less than 6 feet away. Check the west ridge, first voice says. I'll sweep north. What about the kid? Forget the kid. Corvette's the target. If he talked, we're done. The boots separate. One pair moves left. The other right. Their footsteps fade into the forest. Riven counts to 60 in his head. Then 60 again. His muscles stay locked in place. Blaine's body trembles against his. Finally, Riven releases his grip on Blaine's mouth. We have to move, Riven whispers. Now. Blaine nods weakly. They push themselves up. Every movement feels too loud. Every broken twig sounds like a gunshot. Riven pulls Blaine northeast, away from both sets of footsteps. His torn sneakers slip on wet leaves. Blaine's weight drags him sideways, but he compensates. Keeps moving. The trees start to thin. Light breaks through the canopy. Riven's chest swells with desperate hope. Almost there, he breathes. Blaine's knees buckle. He drops. Riven tries to hold him up, but the man's dead weight pulls them both down. They crash into the dirt. Blaine's head hits a rock. Blood streams from a fresh cut above his eyebrow. Get up, Riven begs, tugging on Blaine's arm. Please. We're so close. Blaine's eyes flutter. His lips move but no sound comes out. Panic floods Riven's system. He looks around wildly. The forest edge is 30 yards away. Maybe 40. He can see the road through the trees. Salvation. Safety. But Blaine weighs at least 160. Riven weighs 62. The math doesn't work. I'm sorry, Blaine whispers, his voice barely audible. You should have left me. Riven's hands ball into fists. Tears burn his eyes but he blinks them back. Crying doesn't solve problems. Action does. He grabs Blaine under the arms and pulls. 1 foot. 2 feet. His muscles tear. His back screams. His hands, already cut and bleeding, slip in Blaine's blood-soaked suit. 3 feet. 4 feet. He falls. Gets up. Pulls again. 6 feet. 8 feet. Somewhere behind them, a voice shouts. Over there. Fresh adrenaline dumps into Riven's bloodstream. He doesn't think anymore. Just moves. Pulls. Drags. His vision narrows to a tunnel. The road. Nothing else matters. Just the road. 15 feet. 20 feet. Blaine's eyes close completely. Stay with me, Riven gasps. Don't you dare give up. 25 feet. The footsteps pound closer. Crashing through brush. No more stealth. Just pursuit. 30 feet. Riven's legs give out. He collapses onto his stomach. Blaine's arm slips from his grip. The road is 10 feet away. So close. So impossibly far. Riven lifts his head. Through the trees, he sees a car pass on the road. Then another. Normal people. Normal lives. Completely unaware that 20 feet into the forest, a boy is trying to save a billionaire's life. He opens his mouth to scream for help. And that's when he hears it. Sirens. The sirens split the air like knives. Multiple vehicles. Close. Getting closer. Riven's head snaps toward the road. Red and blue lights flash through the trees. Police. Ambulance. Maybe both. Behind him, the footsteps freeze. They called the cops, first voice hisses. Impossible. Corvette's been out here 2 days. No phone. No. Doesn't matter. Move. Now. The footsteps retreat. Fast. Crashing through undergrowth in the opposite direction. Riven doesn't wait. He grabs Blaine's arm again and pulls with everything left in his body. His muscles feel like they're tearing apart. His vision swims. But the road is right there. 5 feet. 3 feet. 1 foot. They break through the tree line onto the shoulder. Gravel cuts into Riven's knees. He doesn't feel it. He waves his arms at the approaching vehicles. Here, he screams. We're here. 3 police cruisers slam to a stop. Doors fly open. Officers pour out, hands on weapons. On the ground. Now. Riven drops flat immediately. Blaine collapses beside him. It's him, one officer shouts into his radio. Corvette, we found send medical. Now. More vehicles arrive. An ambulance. News vans. Within minutes, the quiet forest road transforms into chaos. Paramedics swarm Blaine. Someone throws a blanket over Riven's shoulders. Questions fly from every direction. What happened? How long was he out there? Who are you? Where are your parents? Riven can't process the words. His ears ring. His hands won't stop shaking. He watches as they lift Blaine onto a stretcher. The billionaire's eyes are closed. An oxygen mask covers his face. 4 lines snake into his arms. Is he going to die? Riven asks, but no one hears him over the noise. A female officer kneels beside him. What's your name, son? Riven, he whispers. Where do you live? Riven looks at the ground. The officer's face softens. It's okay. You're safe now. Safe. The word sounds foreign. Riven hasn't felt safe since his mother's funeral. Since the eviction. Since the first night he slept under that bus shelter and woke up to someone trying to steal his shoes. A reporter pushes through the crowd, camera crew following. Is this the boy who found him? Sir. Sir. Can we get a statement? 2 officers block the reporter. Back up. This is an active scene. But more reporters come. Cameras. Microphones. Lights so bright Riven has to shield his eyes. Everyone wants the story. Everyone wants the details. But no one's looking at him. Not really. They see the blood on his hands. The torn clothes. The bare feet. But they don't see him. They never do. The ambulance doors slam shut. Sirens wail again as it speeds away toward the city. Toward Manhattan hospitals with clean sheets and doctors who know Blaine Corvette's name. Toward a world where people matter. Riven stands on the shoulder, blanket around his shoulders, watching the lights disappear. An officer approaches. We're going to need you to come with us. Answer some questions. Riven nods. He doesn't have a choice. He never does. As they guide him toward a police car, he glances back at the forest. At the place where everything changed. Where a homeless boy became something he never expected. A witness. A rescuer. A person someone might actually remember. But as the car door closes and they drive away, one thought circles through Riven's mind. When the cameras leave and the story ends, where will he be? The black SUV rolls past the police station for the third time. Riven watches it through the precinct window. His hands still shake. Dried blood cracks between his fingers. An officer gave him a bottle of water an hour ago, but he hasn't opened it. Can't. His throat feels sealed shut. Detective Maria Chunault sits across from him in the interview room. She's been asking questions for 40 minutes. Where did you find him? What did he say? Did you see anyone else? Riven answers each one the same way he learned on the streets, short, direct, no extra details. You did something incredible today, Detective Chunault says, leaning forward. Most people would have run. Riven doesn't respond. Most people have homes to run to. Through the window, the SUV passes again. Slower this time. Riven's stomach clenches. Do you recognize that vehicle? Detective Chunault asks, following his gaze. No. But his voice cracks on the word. The detective stands and walks to the window. She pulls out her radio. We've got a suspicious vehicle circling the block. Black Escalade. Run the plates. Static crackles. Then a response. Plates are registered to a shell company. No active warrants. Detective Chunault's jaw tightens. She turns back to Riven. We're going to keep you here tonight. For your safety. I can't stay here, Riven says quietly. Why not? Because police stations have questions. Questions lead to social services. Social services leads to foster homes. And foster homes are where kids disappear into a system that chews them up and spits them back onto the streets worse than before. Riven's been down that road. He's not going back. I need to go, he says, standing. Sit down, Riven. Am I under arrest? Detective Chunault's expression softens. No. But those men are still out there. The ones who took Mr. Corvette. If they know you helped him. They don't know anything about me. Are you willing to bet your life on that? The question hangs in the air. Outside, the SUV stops. The engine idles. Tinted windows reflect the streetlights. No movement. Just waiting. Riven's heart hammers. He thinks about the voices in the forest. The military boots. The cold efficiency of men who tie billionaires to trees and leave them to die. Detective Chunault's radio crackles again. Vehicle just left. Heading south on Amsterdam. She exhales slowly. You got lucky. Riven doesn't feel lucky. He feels like prey. Where's Blaine? He asks. Mount Sinai Hospital. Manhattan. He's in stable condition. Can I see him? Not tonight. He's sedated. Doctors want to monitor him for the next 48 hours. She pauses. But he asked about you. Riven's head snaps up. What? Before they put him under. He kept saying your name. Told them you saved his life. Detective Chenault sits back down. Listen, Riven. I don't know your situation. But whatever it is, you have options now. People are going to want to help you. Riven's heard that before. After his mother died, a social worker said the same thing. Promised help. Promised stability. 3 foster homes later, Riven learned that promises from adults are just words that make them feel better about walking away. I just want to leave, he says. Detective Chenault studies him for a long moment. Then she slides a card across the table. My number. If you need anything, and I mean anything, you call me. Day or night. Riven takes the card. Doesn't look at it. She opens the door. There's a youth shelter on 145th Street. Clean beds. Hot meals. They'll take you tonight, no questions. Riven nods, but he won't go there either. Shelters have rules. Curfews. People watching. He learned a long time ago that freedom means staying invisible. Riven. Am I under arrest? Detective Chenault's expression softens. No. But those men are still out there. The ones who took Mr. Corvette. If they know you helped him. They don't know anything about me. Are you willing to bet your life on that? The question hangs in the air. Outside, the SUV stops. The engine idles. Tinted windows reflect the streetlights. No movement. Just waiting. Riven's heart hammers. He thinks about the voices in the forest. The military boots. The cold efficiency of men who tie billionaires to trees and leave them to die. Detective Chenault's radio crackles again. Vehicle just left. Heading south on Amsterdam. She exhales slowly. You got lucky. Riven doesn't feel lucky. He feels like prey. Where's Blaine? He asks. Mount Sinai Hospital. Manhattan. He's in stable condition. Can I see him? Not tonight. He's sedated. Doctors want to monitor him for the next 48 hours. She pauses. But he asked about you. Riven's head snaps up. What? Before they put him under. He kept saying your name. Told them you saved his life. Detective Chenault sits back down. Listen, Riven. I don't know your situation. But whatever it is, you have options now. People are going to want to help you. Riven's heard that before. After his mother died, a social worker said the same thing. Promised help. Promised stability. 3 foster homes later, Riven learned that promises from adults are just words that make them feel better about walking away. I just want to leave, he says. Detective Chenault studies him for a long moment. Then she slides a card across the table. My number. If you need anything, and I mean anything, you call me. Day. He walks out of the precinct into the night. The air bites cold against his skin. His stomach growls. He hasn't eaten since yesterday. Maybe the day before. Time blurs when you're hungry. The bus shelter is 15 blocks away. 15 blocks of looking over his shoulder. 15 blocks of wondering if that black SUV is circling back. He makes it 7 blocks before he sees it again. Parked. Waiting. Engine running. Riven ducks into an alley. His pulse explodes. He presses his back against the brick wall and counts his options. Run deeper into the alley, could be a dead end. Run back to the street, they'll see him. Stay here, they might drive past. The SUV's engine hums. Footsteps echo on pavement. Riven's eyes dart left. A dumpster. 3 feet away. He moves toward it, staying low. His torn sneakers make no sound. He slides behind the dumpster just as 2 shadows enter the alley. "Thought I saw something," a voice says. Male. Deep. The same voice from the forest. "Probably a rat," the second voice replies. "Corvette's alive because of some street kid. We need to find him before he talks. He's 9 years old. Nobody's going to believe him. You willing to bet 25 million on that?" Silence. Riven's lungs burn. He's holding his breath without realizing it. He forces himself to exhale slowly. Silently. The footsteps move closer. Check behind the dumpster. Riven's heart stops. He looks around frantically. No exit. No weapon. Nothing. The footsteps are 5 feet away now. 4 feet. 3. A car alarm explodes on the street. Loud. Piercing. "What the?" First voice. "Let's go. Cops are probably coming." The footsteps retreat. Fast. The SUV doors slam. Tires screech. Riven stays frozen behind the dumpster for another 5 minutes. Then 10. His entire body trembles. Not from cold this time. From the crushing weight of understanding. They're hunting him. He finally moves. Leaves the alley. Every shadow looks like a threat now. Every parked car could be them. He abandons the idea of going back to the bus shelter. Too predictable. Too exposed. Instead, he heads to the one place nobody looks. The subway tunnels. He knows a maintenance access near 168th Street. A broken lock. A ladder down into darkness. It's not safe. But right now, nowhere is. By the time he reaches the access point, his legs feel like water. He climbs down. The tunnel swallows him. Dripping water. Distant train rumbles. The smell of oil and rust. He finds a corner. Sits. Pulls his knees to his chest. For the first time since this morning, he lets himself cry. Not because he's scared, though he is. Not because he's cold and hungry, though he's both. But because for one brief moment in that forest, when Blaine grabbed his arm and said, "You saved me," Riven felt like he mattered. And now he's right back where he started. Invisible. Alone. Hunted. He doesn't sleep. Just sits in the dark, listening to trains pass overhead, wondering if tomorrow the black SUV will find him. Wondering if saving someone's life was the worst mistake he ever made. Hours pass. Maybe days. Time loses meaning in the tunnels. Then his pocket buzzes. Riven jerks. Confused. He doesn't have a phone. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a phone he's never seen before. Expensive. New. A note is taped to the back in handwriting he doesn't recognize. For emergencies. You're not alone anymore. MC. Detective Chenault. She must have slipped it into his pocket at the precinct. The screen lights up. One missed call. One voicemail. Riven's hand shakes as he opens it. A voice plays through the speaker. Weak. Raspy. But unmistakable. "Riven, this is Blaine Corvette. I don't know if you'll get this message. But I need you to know something. What you did today, no one else would have done that. No one. I'm going to find you. And when I do, I'm going to make sure you never have to sleep in the cold again. I promise." The message ends. Riven stares at the phone. Promises from rich people are just words. He knows that. He's learned that. But something in Blaine's voice sounds different. It sounds like truth. The phone buzzes again. A text message. Unknown number. For words that change everything, asterisk asterisk. We're coming for you. Riven drops the phone. It clatters against the tunnel floor. The screen stays lit. Those 4 words glowing in the darkness. His breath comes in short gasps. They found his number. Which means they know about Detective Chenault. Which means they're closer than he thought. He grabs the phone and runs. The tunnel stretches ahead like a throat. Water drips from somewhere. Rats scatter. His footsteps echo too loud. He needs to get out. Get above ground. Get. His foot catches on a rail tie. He crashes forward. The phone flies from his hand and skitters across the tracks. The screen goes dark. Riven scrambles after it on hands and knees. His fingers close around it just as light floods the tunnel. A train. Coming fast. He throws himself against the wall. The train screams past, inches from his body. The wind tears at his clothes. Metal screeches against metal. Then silence. Riven's legs give out. He slides down the wall, chest heaving. The phone screen is cracked but still works. He checks the message again. Hopes he read it wrong. We're coming for you. Sent 3 minutes ago. Which means they're close. He forces himself up and keeps moving. Finds a ladder. Climbs. Pushes through a maintenance hatch and emerges in a subway station. 168th Street. Early morning. A few people wait on the platform. No one notices the boy covered in tunnel grime. He rides the train to Manhattan. Keeps his head down. Changes lines twice. Basic evasion tactics he learned from older kids on the street. By the time he reaches Mount Sinai Hospital, the sun is fully up. The building towers above him, all glass and steel. A world away from subway tunnels and broken bus shelters. Security guards stand at every entrance. Riven knows he won't get past them looking like this. Dirty. Homeless. Suspicious. But he has to try. He approaches the main entrance. A guard steps forward immediately. Can I help you, son? I'm here to see someone. Visiting hours don't start until 9. And you need to be with an adult. Riven's jaw tightens. I need to see Blaine Corvette. The guard's expression shifts. Mr. Corvette isn't taking visitors. He asked for me. My name is Riven Hale. Something flickers across the guard's face. Recognition maybe. He pulls out a radio. I've got a kid here claiming to know Mr. Corvette. Says his name is Riven Hale. Static. Then a voice Riven doesn't recognize. Send him up. 20th floor. VIP wing. The guard's eyes widen. He steps aside. Riven walks through doors that would have stayed closed to him yesterday. Takes an elevator that would have been off limits. Rides to a floor where people like him don't exist. The 20th floor is quiet. Carpeted. Expensive. A nurse leads him down a hallway to a private room at the end. He's been asking about you all morning, she says softly. You must be very special. Riven doesn't feel special. He feels lost. She opens the door. Blaine Corvette sits propped up in bed. 4 lines snake into his arms. Monitors beep steadily. His face is pale but his eyes are clear. Alert. Those eyes lock onto Riven. You came, Blaine says, his voice rough but strong. Riven stands in the doorway. Doesn't move. Doesn't speak. Close the door, Blaine says. Please. Riven does. The room falls into heavy silence. They found me, Riven finally says. The men from the forest. They sent me a message. Blaine's face goes hard. What did it say? That they're coming for me. Blaine reaches for the call button but Riven stops him. Don't. The police can't help. They didn't before. They won't now. Then what do you want me to do? Riven meets his eyes. Tell me why they want you dead. Tell me what I walked into. Tell me the truth. Blaine is quiet for a long moment. Then he nods. My former business partner. Marcus Whitfield. We built a tech company together in San Francisco. Worth $3 billion. But Marcus got greedy. Started embezzling. I found out. Reported him. He went to prison. So this is revenge. He got out 6 months ago. Moved to Miami. Started making threats. I didn't think he'd actually. Blaine's voice breaks. He hired people. Professional people. They grabbed me outside my office in Boston. Drove me to that forest. Said they'd make it look like a hiking accident. Why not just kill you there? They wanted me to suffer first. Wanted me to know what was coming. Marcus always was cruel like that. Riven processes this. So what happens now? Now I make sure you're safe. That's what happens now. I don't need your charity. This isn't charity, Riven. You saved my life. That makes you family. The word hits Riven harder than he expects. Family. He hasn't heard that word applied to him in 2 years. I don't even know you, Riven says quietly. Then let's fix that. Blaine reaches for a folder on the bedside table. Hands shaking slightly. He opens it and pulls out papers. Legal documents. Lots of them. What is this? Riven asks. A choice, Blaine says. Your choice. I can set you up with the best foster family in New York. Manhattan penthouse. Private school. Everything you need. Or, he pauses. Or I can become your legal guardian. Give you a home. Not as charity. As family. Riven's world tilts. Why? The word comes out broken. Because you showed me something I'd forgotten. That kindness still exists. That people still help each other for no reason except it's the right thing to do. You reminded me what it means to be human, Riven. And I'm not letting you go back to sleeping under bus shelters. Tears burn Riven's eyes but he blinks them back. What about the men hunting me? I have security. The best in the country. Former Secret Service. They'll keep you safe while the FBI handles Marcus and his people. And if I say no, then I'll respect that. But I'll still make sure you're protected. Still make sure you have options. Because that's what family does. Riven looks at the papers. At this man who went from powerless to powerful in less than 24 hours. At this impossible offer that sounds too good to be true. Because things that sound too good to be true usually are. But then he remembers Blaine's eyes in the forest. The fear. The gratitude. The truth in his voice on that voicemail. I'll think about it, Riven says. Blaine smiles. That's all I ask. A knock on the door shatters the moment. The nurse's voice, urgent. Mr. Corvette, there are men here asking about the boy. Blaine's hand slams the call button. Lock the door, he commands the nurse through the intercom. The deadbolt clicks into place. Who are they? Blaine asks, his voice steel now. The nurse's voice crackles back, shaking. They say they're FBI. But they're not showing proper credentials. Security is stalling them at the nurse's station. Riven's blood turns to ice. They found him. In a hospital. In Manhattan. In the one place he thought might be safe. Blaine reaches for his phone. Dials. This is Corvette. I need immediate security response. 20th floor, VIP wing. Potential threat. Yes, now. He hangs up and turns to Riven. There's a service elevator at the end of the hall. Staff only. Can you run? Riven nods. Then go. My head of security will meet you in the parking garage. Level B3. Black Mercedes. License plate reads Corvette 1. He'll take you somewhere safe. What about you? I'll be fine. They want you, not me. Not anymore. Footsteps pound in the hallway. Voices raised. Someone's arguing with security. Go, Blaine says. Now. Riven moves to the door. His hand hesitates on the lock. Will I see you again, he asks. Blaine's expression softens. Count on it. Riven unlocks the door and slips into the hallway. The service elevator is 20 feet to his right. The nurse's station is 30 feet to his left. He can hear the confrontation clearly now. We have jurisdiction here. Not without proper identification, you don't. Riven moves right. Fast but not running. Running draws attention. He learned that on the streets. He reaches the elevator. Presses the button. The doors open immediately. There. Riven spins. Two men in dark suits push past the security guards. Their hands reach inside their jackets. Riven jumps into the elevator and hammers the close button. The doors slide shut. He hears footsteps running. Fists pound on the metal doors. The elevator descends. B1. B. Fists pound on the metal doors. The elevator descends. B1. B2. His heart hammers with each floor. B3. The doors open onto a parking garage. Dim fluorescent lights. Rows of expensive cars. Oil stains on concrete. A black Mercedes flashes its lights across the garage. Riven sprints toward it. His torn sneakers slap against concrete. Behind him, he hears the elevator descending again. They're coming. He reaches the Mercedes. The passenger door flies open. A man in his 40s, built like a linebacker, leans across from the driver's seat. Get in. Riven throws himself inside. The door slams. Tires screech. They rocket toward the exit ramp. The man drives with military precision, fast but controlled. In the rearview mirror, two figures burst from the elevator. Seatbelt, the man says calmly. Riven buckles in. They explode out of the garage into Manhattan traffic. The driver weaves between cars like they're standing still. Horns blare. Someone screams out a window. 3 blocks. 5 blocks. 10. The driver finally slows. Takes a turn into a residential area. Parks behind a brownstone. I'm Jackson Reed, he says, extending a hand. Head of security for Mr. Corvette. You must be Riven. Riven shakes it. His hand looks like a child's in Jackson's grip. Where are we going? Somewhere those men won't find you. Mr. Corvette owns properties in 6 cities. We're taking you to the safest one. Where? Seattle. Private compound on the outskirts. 24-hour security. Former military personnel. Nobody gets in or out without authorization. Seattle. 2,000 miles from New York. From the only home Riven's ever known. What if I don't want to go? Jackson's expression doesn't change. Then I'll put you back on that street corner and those men will kill you before sunrise. Your choice. Not much of a choice. When do we leave? 2 hours. Private jet at Teterboro Airport. We'll drive there now. Mr. Corvette will join us tomorrow after the doctors clear him. Riven looks out the window. At Manhattan. At the city that forgot he existed until yesterday. At the streets that raised him and tried to kill him in equal measure. He thinks about his mother. About the promise he made at her funeral that he'd survive. That he wouldn't let the streets win. Maybe survival looks different than he thought. Okay, he says quietly. Let's go. Jackson nods and pulls back into traffic. They drive in silence. Riven watches the city slide past. The Bronx. Queens. New Jersey highways. Each mile feels like leaving something behind. Something he can't name. Teterboro Airport appears through the windshield. Private jets line the tarmac like expensive toys. Jackson parks near a gleaming white Gulfstream. A pilot stands at the stairs. That's us, Jackson says. They exit the car. Riven follows Jackson across the tarmac. The jet's interior looks like something from a movie. Leather seats. Polished wood. More space than the entire bus shelter where he used to sleep. Ever been on a plane? Jackson asks. Riven shakes his head. Then you're in for a treat. Seattle's beautiful this time of year. The pilot closes the door. Engines whine to life. Within minutes, they're taxiing. Riven watches through the window as New York disappears below. The city that forgot him. That ignored him. That tried to swallow him whole. But he's still here. Still breathing. Still fighting. And for the first time in 2 years, he's not alone. The jet climbs higher. Breaks through the clouds into clear blue sky. Jackson hands him a sandwich. Eat. You look like you haven't had a real meal in weeks. Riven takes it. Turkey and cheese on bread that's actually soft. He eats slowly. Lets himself taste it. Enjoy it. Mr. Corvette told me what you did, Jackson says quietly. In the forest. Most grown men wouldn't have that kind of courage. I was scared, Riven admits. Courage isn't the absence of fear, kid. It's acting despite it. The sandwich settles warm in Riven's stomach. His eyes grow heavy. Exhaustion crashes over him like a wave. He hasn't really slept in days. Rest, Jackson says. We've got 5 hours until we land. I'll keep watch. Riven leans back in the leather seat. Lets his eyes close. Feels the jet carrying him towards something unknown. And for the first time since his mother died, he dreams about tomorrow instead of surviving today, ***. The Seattle compound sits on 40 acres of evergreen forest. Riven stands at the window of his new room and watches rain streak down the glass. His room. The words still feel foreign. The space is bigger than any apartment he lived in with his mother. King-size bed. Desk. Bookshelves. A bathroom with a shower that has 6 different settings. He's been here 3 days. Act like expensive toys. Jackson parks near a gleaming white Gulfstream. A pilot stands at the stairs. That's us, Jackson says. They exit the car. Riven follows Jackson across the tarmac. The jet's interior looks like something from a movie. Leather seats. Polished wood. More space than the entire bus shelter where he used to sleep. Ever been on a plane? Jackson asks. Riven shakes his head. Then you're in for a treat. Seattle's beautiful this time of year. The pilot closes the door. Engines whine to life. Within minutes, they're taxiing. Riven watches through the window as New York disappears below. The city that forgot him. That ignored him. That tried to swallow him whole. But he's still here. Still breathing. Still fighting. And for the first time in 2 years, he's not alone. The jet climbs higher. Breaks through the clouds into clear blue sky. Jackson hands him a sandwich. Eat. You look like you haven't had a real meal in weeks. Riven takes it. Turkey and cheese on bread that's actually... Blaine arrived yesterday. Doctors cleared him sooner than expected. He immediately sat down with Riven and laid out a plan. School. Therapy. Security protocols. Everything structured. Everything thought out. Everything overwhelming. A knock on the door. Come in, Riven says. Blaine enters carrying 2 mugs. Hot chocolate. He hands one to Riven. Can't sleep? Blaine asks. Not used to beds this soft. They stand together at the window. Rain drums against the roof. In the distance, security lights illuminate the compound perimeter. I need to tell you something, Blaine says. The FBI arrested Marcus Whitfield this morning. In Dallas. He was planning to leave the country. Riven's chest tightens. What about the men who were chasing me? In custody. All of them. You're safe now, Riven. Really safe. The relief should feel bigger. Should fill up the empty spaces inside him. But Riven's learned not to trust relief. It disappears too quickly. What happens now, he asks. Now you get to be a kid. Go to school. Make friends. Figure out what you want to become. And you? I go back to work. Rebuild what Marcus tried to destroy. But I'll be here every weekend. And whenever you need me. Riven turns from the window. Looks at this man who went from helpless to protector in less than a week. Why me? Riven asks. You could help 1,000 kids. Why choose me? Blaine is quiet for a long moment. Because you didn't choose me for who I am or what I have. You chose to help because someone needed help. That's rare, Riven. In my world, everyone wants something. But you just wanted to do the right thing. I was scared the whole time. So was I. But you moved anyway. That's what heroes do. I'm not a hero. That's exactly what heroes say. Blaine smiles. Listen, I know this is all happening fast. And I know you don't trust easy. You shouldn't. Life taught you that. But I'm not going anywhere. This isn't temporary. This is your home now. For as long as you want it. Riven's throat tightens. He wants to believe it. Wants to trust that this moment won't evaporate like everything else good in his life. What if I mess up, he asks quietly. Then we'll figure it out together. That's what family does. There's that word again. Family. Riven thinks about his mother. About the last thing she told him before the hospital machines went quiet. Be strong, baby. But don't forget to let people in. He's been strong for 2 years. Survived alone. Fought alone. Starved alone. Maybe it's time to try the other part. Okay, Riven says. I'll stay. Blaine's eyes shine. He pulls Riven into a hug. Gentle. Careful. Like Riven might break. And maybe he might. Maybe they both might. But they'll break together instead of alone. When they pull apart, Blaine wipes his eyes quickly. I enrolled you in a great school here. Small classes. Good teachers. They know your situation. No pressure. When do I start? Monday. If you're ready. Riven nods. He's not ready. But he's learning that ready is a choice, not a feeling. Blaine stands. Get some sleep. Big day tomorrow. I'm taking you into Seattle. Show you the city. Maybe get you some clothes that actually fit. He leaves. Closes the doors softly behind him. Riven climbs into the massive bed. Pulls the covers up. Stares at the ceiling. His phone, the one Detective Chenault gave him, sits on the nightstand. He picks it up. Opens the message thread. We're coming for you. Those words felt like a death sentence 3 days ago. Now they're evidence in a federal case. The men behind them are locked up. Marcus Whitfield is facing 20 years. Justice. Real justice. Not the kind that ignores homeless kids and protects the powerful. But the kind that protects everyone. Riven deletes the message. Starts a new one. To Detective Chenault. Thank you. For the phone. For believing me. For everything. He sends it. Then opens another text. This one to Blaine, who's probably still awake downstairs. Thank you too. 3 dots appear immediately. Then a response. Thank you for reminding me what matters. Sleep well, Riven. Tomorrow's a new beginning. Riven sets the phone down. Closes his eyes. For the first time in 2 years, he doesn't dream about his mother's funeral or eviction notices or cold nights under broken shelters. He dreams about Monday. About school. About a future that exists beyond surviving the next 24 hours. The rain continues. Soft now. Almost like music. Somewhere in Manhattan, the bus shelter still stands empty. The forest where everything changed grows quiet. The streets of the Bronx keep moving, indifferent to one less invisible child. But Riven Hale isn't invisible anymore. He's seen. Protected. Wanted. He's home. And that story. The one about a homeless boy who saved a billionaire's life and found himself saved in return, spreads across the country. From New York to Los Angeles. From Boston to Miami. From Seattle to Dallas. People share it. Talk about it. Wonder about it. Some call it a miracle. Others call it luck. But Riven knows the truth. It was a choice. Made by a 9-year-old boy in a forest who decided that someone else's life mattered more than his fear. One choice. One moment. One act of courage. That changed everything. If this story touched you, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the next story we share might be about someone you know. Someone who needs to hear that their choice matters. That their courage counts. That their life has value, even when the world forgets to look. Drop a comment and tell us, what's one brave thing you did when you were scared? Your story could inspire someone else to be brave too. See you in the next one. Marcus Whitfield is facing 20 years. Justice. Real justice. Not the kind that ignores homeless kids and protects the powerful. But the kind that protects everyone. Riven deletes the message. Starts a new one. To Detective Chenault. Thank you. For the phone. For believing me. For everything. He sends it. Then opens another text. This one to Blaine, who's probably still awake downstairs. Thank you too. 3 dots.